Welcome to the OpenClaw Chameleon training. We're going to be installing OpenClaw via Chameleon using the wizard. We've created a Chameleon MCP that allows you to talk to your Chameleon and do a whole lot more with the OpenClaw MCP. So first place you want to do is come over to your settings. This is in the main settings in the bottom, and then refresh status. Okay, so I don't know if you've ever installed it, tried to install it, or looked into it, but this wizard changes everything. In what respect? Well, you don't have to jump around and do everything in the command line. There is one or two places where it's copy and paste, and I'll show you. We'll go through it right now. There's absolutely no way you could mess this up. And as soon as this is ready, it's sort of going through. Oh, there you go. It is ready. So now it's realized there's nothing here. Okay, nothing's available. Open the wizard. Okay, so we're at the wizard. This is the first stage, the prerequisite. Okay, so OpenClaw is missing. Let's see what's over here. Okay, so the prerequisite's Node.js, and I happen to have it already on my computer, so it's already installed. Okay, so what happens is it once it installs, you go through a refresh up here. You'll see it'll show you what it's doing, and then it shows next, and then you go to the next one. Okay, you could always refresh if it's gone through and it doesn't appear. Sometimes if you refresh, it will appear. Okay, so let's go next. So this is what we want to do. We want to copy the command, and we're going to open this up in CMD admin, and you just paste. And that's it. Okay, this is as far into the command line you're going to have to get from here on out. First, you install Node.js in the same exact way in the previous step, but again, I already have it installed on this computer, so it found that the prerequisites are there. And then OpenClaw, which is the next one, which is the real complicated one, and here we're doing it right now. Okay, so this is installing it on the system. As soon as it installs it, we're going to jump right back into the wizard and continue setting up the MCP, then the AI, using the APIs. Today we're going to use Anthropic, because this is my main computer. You can have two. You can have Anthropic and Kimi. Kimi is really good, really cheap. It's very good for running the automations. I like Anthropic for actually creating them, creating the skills and diagnosing. And we'll get deep into all of that in the weekly workshops. Best way to create skills and automations using this system. Again, what this means is you've got not just access to the profiles to be able to, even create profiles and move them around folders and put them into new folders that you've just created. You could do all of that stuff. But because you've got the whole infrastructure of Playwright hard-coded into the system, into Chameleon, together with OpenClaw, it's very powerful. Okay, so as you can see, it's installed. Great. We're going to just close this down, and then if it doesn't show next, we do a quick refresh here, and there you go, next. And then here, this is the moment we start the gateway. Okay, so and by the way, this is on my main computer. Okay, so you want to allow that, of course. That's the Node.js. That's how it runs, and this is on my main computer, right? That's how safe this setup is. That's how safe we've made this, that you can install this on your server. I've got a VPS version, which is like the workhorse for just, doing stuff, checking stuff, screenshots, running little automations. Then I've got another one, which is my main account sitting on my other computer, which I've been creating all of these skills and automations on. And then now I'm putting it on my actual main computer here. As you can see, the gateway started. And this is generally what you would have to do. You'd have to live in this sort of environment if you were using it natively, because OpenClaw is Linux, right? Linux based. And everything, if you're using Linux, is basically, it's all the command line. There's no GUI, right? So we created the GUI, basically, the interface that allows it to, um, that allows you to speak to it via Chameleon, with Chameleon controlling it. You've got all the profiles. You could run things in different profiles, tell it to launch which profile, whatever one you want. It's amazing. Absolutely been loving it. Okay, so while this goes, we're ready to go to the next one. Okay, got gateways running. Okay, next. Now we want to set up the MCP. This is the agent, so set up agent. And here we can see it working up here. Okay, so we're about 5.5, 6 minutes in, almost 6 minutes in, and we are halfway through. This is normally a really tedious, long, drawn out, trying to work it out so that you install it right, and also safely. You want to install it safely. You don't want any of those nightmare stories happening that you hear about, where OpenClaw have access to your whole computer, your files, your browser, and it read WhatsApp. I don't know how true these are, but I've heard stories where it's read. It's realized that you've browsed on one of your ex's Facebook profiles, and then it went off and it sent a WhatsApp message to the ex saying that, don't worry, I'm not really still interested, even though I'm looking at your socials, or something like that, something ridiculous. Anyway, and you've heard, there are lots of other nightmare stories because people are just, installing it and not really sure what they're doing. Especially when you want to create the skills. That's something that we're going to really dig deep on and show you exactly the right ways to do this. And I've been talking to people who've had OpenClaw installed and running for months and months and months, and they actually had no idea how to really create skills properly, although they were working. They were buggy and they weren't consistent, and so on and so forth. And there's, I know all the reasons, and we'll go into all of those reasons in the workshops. Okay, right. This is just, let's get this working. Let's get this up and running right now. Okay, so it looks like something happened. Set up agent. Nope, it's still going through it here. So, okay, now next. There you go. And now we want to get I'm going to use Anthropic first. Claude. I'm just going to press pause and get my key. Okay, got the key. You just paste it in there and validate key. And then again, up here, it'll go through the validation. It'll show you what it's doing. And it can take a couple of minutes, depending on a whole load of things. Internet, their system, whatever it might be. Make sure everything does match up and connect properly. So it can take a couple of minutes, but normally it's sooner than that. So here is, we can see the gateways opening back up again. That's because it needs to do that when validating the key. So it's sort of restarting the gateway, I believe, doing things here in the command line. Just ignore all of that. Don't mess with anything. Okay, so keys validated, right? We've got next, right? So let's click next. And we want to make sure that this is the model called Sonnet. So select model. Okay, 8.5 minutes in, just coming up to 9 minutes actually. And we are almost done. The next one is the one that's a little bit finicky, you could say, because we've got to create a bot on Telegram. It's really simple and straightforward. There's also WhatsApp that you can connect to, but then you can only connect one OpenClaw instance to WhatsApp. And I tried that, found out the hard way, because I installed two. I did one on the VPS, then one on my main computer, the other one. And then one message I sent, as soon as I sent a message to it, that's it. It was a loop nightmare. They started talking to each other. So, that's what happened. So I quickly shut one of them down and realized you have to use Telegram, obviously, if that's what you want to run multiple instances on one phone. And next, so it's done that. So we don't want WhatsApp. You have to tick that. It has to have at least one. And then we'll untick WhatsApp next. So WhatsApp is easy to connect. If you know you're not going to be doing anything with multiple instances, go ahead and use WhatsApp. It's the easiest one to connect. It's literally just a QR code reader. And it creates the QR code. It shows you the QR code. And then you just, that's it, you're synced. And then you get one message that you have to put back in. Same as in Telegram. But with Telegram, the only extra step is we've got to create the bot. All right, so let's do that while this is happening. 1 second, let me open up into the right place in Telegram. Okay, so now you have to untick the WhatsApp. I'm going to make it so that Telegram is the default so that we don't have to go through this double step. Because WhatsApp used to be the default, but then we realized that you can't really run multiple instances effectively. You need Telegram. Okay, so Telegram, here, let me get it again, 1 second. All right, so you got to go to BotFather. That is the place on Telegram. There'll be a link, but here's you can't miss it, BotFather. Just do a search for BotFather and then create new bot. Okay, so this bot name is going to be Chameleon Master. I'm going to call this Chameleon Main because we have a Chameleon Master already. That's what we're doing the coding. And then you've got to finish off with the underscore bot. So I don't know, just going to make something up. All right. So that's the bot name. It's probably going to be grayed out because I don't want all, public knowing what the bots are because you can't access them, but still. Okay, so this is what you need. You need the secret here. So we're going to copy that and then come back to Chameleon and then pair in app, Telegram bot token, pair in Telegram. Okay, so once this is done, there's going to be one final step, which is approve requester. And it just means that you do a quick message in the bot you just created. And then you put that through another pairing code. Okay, this was the app token, and the next one is a pairing code. Okay, so while this is getting ready, let's open up Telegram. Just a second. Okay, so this is what you'll get. The gateway is restarted again, so that has to happen a few times, multiple times. I'm going to close this down to avoid having any keys show. Okay, now let's see what's happening here. It's still going. So as soon as that's done, what we do is we send a message here. And there you go. There's the pairing code. Okay, so we need to take this pairing code and paste it there. It's all ready to paste there. 1 second. Let me just make sure there's no funny spaces in there. Hang on a minute. Okay, definitely worth doing that because there was an extra space and it was a return, so there was a line, so that would have screwed things up. Okay, so I've got the right code now, and now approve requester, and then that code goes in there, and then approve. And that's it. We should be in. The next one is just sort of verifications, locking it down, making sure that everything is configured and working properly. And as you can see, we've got the gateway. That's going to be restarted again shortly. There's I think like 4 or 5, 6 times. This is one of the things that takes so much time is the restarting of the gateway and having to go through all of the configuration, see what's there, then what's missing, and then running it again. Okay, so we're about 14 and a half minutes in, and I think we're done. So let's just see this last step here. Oh, there we go. Now it's restarting the gateway. So that means it found it, it clicked it, it liked it. The next restart, we're going to be in. And start sending messages. Let's just wait for it to officially restart. So you can see here, Telegram available, true, paired, true, requester approved, true, ready, false, bound, true, warning, true, blocking, true. Telegram is configured and bound to the main OpenClaw agent. Gateway status plus loopback proof is required. So that's what we're doing right now. And we're going to wait until it restarts and finishes so that I could send a message into the OpenClaw chat. Okay, so, I'm just going to pause it now just because it's getting a little bit longer and all we're doing is waiting for the gateway to restart. If anything else changes, I'll unpause, okay? All right, so looks like we're good, ready and bound. Let's send that first message. Hi. There you go, we're connected, typing. I love that. Absolutely love that. It's like your VA is typing back at you. Okay, so let's go to next in the meantime. Okay, everything's set up. Next. And this is a false positive. Ignore that. Binding not yet verified. It is, because here we go. Hi, Shimon, how can I help you? Are we connected to the Chameleon MCP? Yes, Chameleon MCP. Oop, we're going to have to block that out. Is connected at healthy. All core capabilities are online. Launch, stop, list, create, delete, folders, automations. There you go. All right, guys. Any questions? Let me know in the comments.